Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Unsportsmanlike, your sports stories and discussion from an educated point of view. Today, we're extremely happy to welcome back two of our special guests, Jonathan and David.
What's up, guys? I'm Jonathan.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm David.
Today, we'll cover a very interesting yet controversial topic, female sports. We'll have a discussion about media coverage and the discrepancy in pay. So my first question to you guys is that what do you think about the media's coverage of male and female sports as of now, and what are the differences?
Yeah, I would say there's a huge gap, between like male and female sports. If you just go like ESPN, like Fox Sports, you can like barely see any female sports at here. And even if you go to like Instagram, like Twitter, any kind of like social medias, it's like really hard for you to then see any feeds about like female sports. I remember so last time I noticed about like the female sports are pretty much like Serena Williams, in the U.S. Open, tennis Open here. Yeah, like controversial here. It's like, yeah, it's a huge gap. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lack of coverage in men and women's sports, and that's kind of due to this vicious circle that they have going on. The media is not covering it because it's not generating any revenue. People aren't watching, and people aren't watching because the media is not covering it. For example, soccer, the most popular sport in the world. If you look at some figures that FIFA put out from the last couple World Cups, in 2014, the Men's World Cup final had 1.5 million views just for the final, and it generated 3.2 billion views overall in the tournament. So the women's 2015 final didn't even amount to that. I think overall for the tournament, they only had 750 million views overall. So again, it's this vicious circle. It leads to a lack of sponsorships, a lack of revenue, and it's going to keep revolving as long as the media is covering it the way it is.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. What happens now is that even if you want to watch some of the female sports, even if you're interested, you cannot find any coverage unless it's probably, let's say, Serena Williams playing, and it results in less money involved in the female sports area. So, David, what do you think about the vicious circle that we're talking about?
Yeah, I just want to add a fact, like when people find it less attractive and less competitive, like the female sports are, they're definitely gonna pay less attention and spend like much less time on watching the sports. And so as like the rating and the traffic online was definitely gonna go less. And also I'm not trying to say like female sports aren't good at all, because if you ever watched last season, the NCAA, the women basketball, the Notre Dame won the championship at the buzzer. I was really like a thrilling game to me. Yeah, it's a great game. So, but I just mean overall in general, the sports are just not competitive enough compared to any Sunday Night Football, Super Bowl or March Madness, as we say, right? So as a result, there's gonna be less capital investment from the sponsors, right? And we got less money for this industry. I mean, it's gonna be less professional of the management is gonna be. So as a result, the final step of the circle, because it's gonna be less valuable for mainstream media to ever cover it, because you don't worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, and to David's point, it's not that women's sports aren't competitive, because sometimes they are. Sometimes you can make the argument that they're more competitive than men's sports. But the real issue lies in the money. Forbes made their list, top 100 paid athletes, in 2017. The issue was there was no women on that list. Floyd Mayweather, the boxer, came in at number 1, making $285 million in 2017 alone.
Terrible.
And that was from one fight.
Yeah,
from one fight versus Conor McGregor. Serena Williams, she did take the year off. She's usual, a resident somewhere in the mid-30s, 40s. She took the year off because of her pregnancy, but she still racked in $18.7 million, and she was off by 22. 22 athletes were ahead of her before she could even be on that list. And that's pretty crazy when you think about it, the perspective that women athletes and the devalue that they have when it comes to men athletes. Yeah, I think it's crazy.
Yeah, it's been really unbelievable or even just crazy about when you find no female on the list,
Yeah, no, most definitely. I mean, and then really, like I said, it lies all in the money. You can look at, again, I'm going to go back to FIFA, the number 1 sport in the world in soccer. When the U.S. men's team lost in the round of 16 in 2014, they still got paid $16 million just for losing. They got paid $16 million.
Yeah, just crazy.
If you look at women when they won in 2015, they got paid $2 million. for winning the whole damn tournament.
Yeah.
So I think it's crazy. It's there. There's evidence that proves that there is a large discrepancy, and now it's just how are we going to address this in the future?
Yeah, I think it's definitely really crazy and unbelievable because all of the Grand Slams currently are offering equal pay as of like even 10 years ago, but still male tennis player gets way more tournament money than the female tennis players. So do you guys think it would help if women sports get equal coverage or just like more coverage compared to now? Do you think it will help these players?
Yeah, I'll say absolutely yes, because what's more important than just like simple coverage is your inspiration to the next generation. So just like trying to imagine like a little girl who finds like nothing or just like a few like pieces about women's soccer in the media coverage, like she has no role model to follow for next few years in the future, right? And there's no way for her to understand the real meaning, the real value, and even the guiding belief of the sports. So what's the point for her to play, right? So what it means, like, it's not only bad for only like one female sports. It's like really bad and really negative for the whole female sports industry.
Yeah, and without getting too much into like Title IX, which obviously gave women equal rights, and especially when it came to college and their opportunities, if you look at college athletes, specifically women, there is an opportunity for them. They go to college, they get their degrees, and they play. So now we're kind of asking ourselves, what happens to these women who are good enough, athletic enough, and talented enough to go onto the professional level? Like, where are they going to be valued when it compared to men? I think now... David mentioned little girls, what are they going to aspire to? I think we've done a good job at addressing maybe some of the needs of, college athletes, but now we need to go on to a bigger thing, these professional athletes. Where is their equal coverage? Where is their discrepancies? And how are we as, society going to address these things that we can come together, whether it's going to be media coverage, it's going to be press, or even, things like tickets, attendance. There's people that are not wanting to go to these female games because they think there's the stereotype that it's not going to be as entertaining as a men's game. I think we as a society need to move on from those kind of maybe thoughts that we have and kind of be more progressive when it comes to women.
Yeah, so I really agree like what Johnson just talked about, because, surfing has just become the first ever US-based sports to offer like the equal pay, equal prices for both males and females. I also like it's really good to start. I feel really happy about that, because without being like realizing this, I mean the real equality for female sports, it's like totally a nonsense when you talk about more opportunities to be covered by the mainstream media for female sports.
Yeah, definitely. I think the two of you guys talked a lot about the interesting topic conversation about women's sports, even equal pay, and even just the equal recognition of women's sports worth, not only business-wise, but also like to the audience-wise. So that will conclude our discussion today. I know you guys have a lot of comments, so please drop them down in the comment section below. We'll really appreciate to hear from you. And also for more sports stories and discussions, please check out unsportsmanlikela.wordpress.com. We'll see you next time. Thanks guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.